So if you guys been looking for a VIESSA build that can destroy these hard bosses in seconds, well, this is the build for you. And the better thing about this build is you can use this on regular VIESSA or on ultimate VIESSA, and that's what's great about it. You guys are gonna see here, I don't even fire a single bullet, and guess what happens? Pyromaniac goes down in just 14 seconds. And I think that's when you know you've created a build that works amazing, where you don't have to shoot a single bullet and a boss can go down. But again, the Secret Garden isn't anything to play around with because that bad boy can still hit. So if you need to use it to finish off a boss, that is what that weapon is there for. And mine isn't even fully maxed out, so I can't wait to fully max out this weapon so I can finally see the full potential of the Secret Garden. And not only that, I can't wait to even get a better reactor, because I'm going to show you one that I have, and I don't even have the best one, and we're still doing this to these bosses. So I know you guys are ready, but before we get into it, if you guys can do me a favor, leave a thumbs up on the video. And remember, if you ever want to watch me playing the First Descendants live, you can always catch me over on twitch.tv/NothingButSkillz. But let's get into it. So before we get into the build, guys, I do want you guys to know that you guys can run this build whether you guys have regular VIESSA or you have ultimate VIESSA, what you're seeing in front of you. Now, the reason why is because the modules I do use can be used on VIESSA, all the weapons I'm using. So there is no difference between you using the VIESSA and ultimate VIESSA on this build. Now, I do want to get into two of the biggest changes that I did for this build. You've probably seen it in the past, but I made some slight tweaks to make it even stronger. So we'll get into that, and we're going to start off with the reactor itself. So with the reactor, we are going to be running Secret Garden mounting, because Secret Garden is one of the better weapons to use for her, especially if you're trying to put out that instant damage. As you guys saw, I was able to drop Pyro pretty fast, right? And you don't have to worry about him going into frenzy as long as you land your Blizzard in the right location. It works great. Secret Garden is what you guys want to go with. We have Chill Tech and then Tech Skill Power on here. And then for this one, ideally, I would like to have Colossus damage and then have skill critical hit damage, but I have not been able to get a Frozen Reactor with Chill Tech and Colossus damage plus skill critical hit damage. So this is the next best bet. So if you do get the Colossus damage there with that skill critical hit damage, it's probably gonna do better than what you guys saw I did, which was pretty good, right? And you guys can run this in solo, or if you wanna go into groups, you can run it the same type of build. But yeah, that is the reactor you guys wanna go with. Now for the external components, this is something you guys need to pay attention to. You guys can run the Slayer set, but one thing you guys really wanna get is this MP recovery out of combat. Whether you guys are gonna run a two-piece like I did, I felt like the two-piece allowed me to spam my skills more if I wasn't able to drop the bosses fast enough. And if I ran a Slayer set, the skill cost ate me a little bit. So it was kind of a give and take, but you guys can decide what reactors you guys want to run. I have the Annihilation set right here. I have a two-piece. We have defense, MP, max HP, and you need to have MP recovery out of combat, because that's going to allow you to get that Secret Garden talent procced, and I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, MP recovery out of combat is what you want. Now, for your second piece, we have another Annihilation set, and you want to have MP recovery in combat here, and then defense and max HP. So ideally, this is kind of the set you want, but what you want to look for is the MP recovery in combat right here, and the MP recovery out of combat. Now, for the other two piece, I am running the Polar set. That's going to give me that shield skill power. I have max shield, defense, and right here, I would like to have MP modifier, and I can show you one that has it. Let me pull one up right here. So you see how this one has defense, and MP recovery modifier? That's what you kind of want to go with this one. I don't have that, but that's what ideally, max shield, defense, and then that. And then for your processor, max HP, this isn't the perfect set. I don't have a lot of really good polar sets. I thought I had other pieces. I guess I deleted them on accident. But again, yeah, so this is kind of the set you want to go with. I'm going to look double check. Yeah, we don't have another one. Now, if you want to run with the four-piece Slayer set, you guys can do that. It gives you that skill power of 26%, but the skill cost is the one thing that didn't allow me to really spam my skills. So I decided to try this one, and this one worked good, and that's what you guys saw in the video, but you guys can definitely change this around. So let's get into the weapon. So the primary weapon you're going to be using, right, is going to be the Secret Garden. Now I have firearm critical hit rate, firearm critical damage, firearm attack, and bonus firearm attack to Colossus, because ideally this is what you want on the build. Now the way I have this set up is I have action reaction for the firearm attack, recoil, we have rifle and reinforcement, firearm attack, We have expand weapon change, rounds per magazine, better insight, better concentration, fire rate up. We have weak point for the weak point damage, fatal critical, and ideally I can still put a few more, but I haven't put enough catalyst in this. But realistically, you shouldn't even be shooting your weapon that much. Let me show you why. Because if we go to the talent, right, you go to the unique ability, when using a dimension skill, it recovers custom resource with a set chance. When using a tech skill, which is my Blizzard, it grants unique ability pest control. Now, what is pest control? Well, pest control has a 50% chance trigger rate. The duration is 10 seconds. It can stack up to 3 times. Now you get firearm attack 5%, skill power 5%, but firearm attack per stack 16%, skill power per attack 16%. So depending on how many stacks you can get on there, which is up to 3, that's 3 times 16%. So additional 48% skill power, and it's only a 50% trigger rate, but if you do happen to get that to work, it makes your skills hit that much harder, and that's why I'm running this secret garden. Again, I do not have this fully cat. I'm probably gonna keep working on it, but again, you can see proficiency, it's a level 39. I'll put in the catalyst in there and keep working on her. Let's get into the build. So for the build, you'll notice I am running cold-bloodedness, and the good thing about cold-bloodedness is you can run it on ultimate VIESSA or regular VIESSA. Again, you can run it on either one. Now, maxing it out is not mandatory, but if you guys wanna fit more slots on your build, you're gonna want to spend the resources to max this one out, because you're gonna need to fully cat her to get her working. Now we do have spear and shields on here. This is gonna give us that defense. We have a little bit of survivability, and I'll show you the defense and HP in a second. Plus we get skill power of 8%. We have battle stamina for max HP and skill duration, which helps with our Blizzard. We have dangerous ambush when landing a skill while enemy is not targeting you. The skill power is 24%. But when the enemy is immobilized, your skill power bumps to 49%. So that's where you get a ton of damage. We have nimble fingers on here for skill cooldown for the negative 25%. Front lines for skill critical hit damage, skill critical rate. MP conversion, more skill cooldown, and at max MP because we want to get those skills back quick. You notice we did get them really fast, right, in the video. We have emergency measures for more skill critical hit rate, skill critical damage, skill insight for skill critical hit rate, focus on chill for chill skill power and skill cooldown, skill concentration for skill critical hit damage, and then long distance maneuvering. You can change this however you want. Usually in bossing, some people like using mid-air maneuvering, but it's really up to you. I personally like long distance, it's up to you. But yeah, this is the build right here, super good. But if you look at this, our Blizzard is sitting at 19 seconds, but with cold-bloodedness, I believe it comes back in like 7 seconds, around 7 seconds or so. And that's great because if you notice, our duration is 6.9 seconds, and I think we get it back very, very fast. If you look right here, cold-bloodedness, right, we can spam this as much as we want. Our frost shards are 2.2 seconds. This cuts down. And then also our cold snap is 6.4 seconds, and this cuts down too. And that's why cold-bloodedness is so great on this build, because what it does is when using a skill, increases skill power, but also decreases skill cost and skill cooldown. So that is why I like this build, and that's what you guys actually saw. It's an amazing build to use. You can run this on, remember, regular VIESSA or ultimate VIESSA, it does not matter, but this is the build right here. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Also, remember, my defense is sitting at 26,000. My HP is sitting at about 5,000. If you need to add more HP, you can switch out battle stamina for just a regular HP mod, and that's gonna increase your HP to give you a little bit more survivability. If you can find different external components that can also give you more HP, you can switch things around. But again, just depending on what you're playing, who you're playing with, if you're playing solo, you can kind of switch everything around. But again, if you're looking for a build that can kind of do everything, right, like that just takes care of the enemies, you get to spam your skills and drop them, this is a great hard boss build, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I do, as VIESSA is one of my mains. And that's gonna wrap up this video here, guys. I will see you guys in the next one, but if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. Nothing but skills is out.